All right, so if you thought last week's flower picture was a little lacking in color, here you go. It's, I don't know what this is. I don't know anything about flowers, but hopefully there's a little more color for you. I took this because I was directly inspired by my cousin Beth's Instagram. She posted a picture one day, and I thought, man, that is super cool, as I often think when I look at her Instagram. And as I often do when I look at, when I see a picture I find interesting, I go out and try and take one like it, or at least take one kind of inspired by it. Now, Beth's was nothing like this. It was a picture of a flower, and I don't remember the exact picture. I tried to look it up, but I forgot what it was that led to my wanting to go and take this picture. But whatever it was, I thought that was really cool. I'm going to go take a picture of a flower. So I went out and armed with my... Was it my D750? I forget which camera I had. I think it was the 7100, the crop sensor camera. And of course, you know it, my +4 close-up filter. Found this flower, shot it from a couple different angles, and it was a little tricky because it was a bright afternoon. And normally I don't like to take photos at that time because there's so much light. It ends up putting everything in these harsh light shadow type of lighting, and I don't like that. But here, I think because the petals on this flower were so massive, it kind of gave itself enough shadow. You can see on the top left, there's a flower that there's a petal that's a little translucent, and that gives you an idea of how bright it was. But when I got back to my computer and I was looking through these photos, none of them really stood out to me. And this one, I saw it and I thought, man, I almost got that, but I didn't. And then the more I looked at it, I thought, you know what, I really actually did get it. I shot this at f8, and when I was taking the picture, I thought, there's no way. f8, that's not going to be as shallow a depth of field. So I shot a bunch at f2.8 and f4, which was a disaster. You couldn't see anything. The depth of field was so shallow, even with my +4 filter, which isn't that close. I mean, it's pretty close, but I thought, okay, if I shoot with my +4 filter, stand far enough back that I can get the whole flower to fit in the frame, I need a larger aperture if I want a shallow depth of field. Turns out that was not the case. This photo shot at f8 was great, and in terms of sharpness and depth of field. But what I didn't like was the colors. It looks like it's got some sort of Instagram filter going on where things are desaturated, and I promise you that's not the case. I've never used an Instagram filter ever. I don't plan to. I just prefer subtle manipulations in Lightroom. But I do kind of like the overall color tone. It's this purpley, like subdued purple, and this green that's kind of got a yellowish tint to it. You can see some fringing around the petals, the borders of the petals, which are it's an artifact of me using the close-up filter because the light gets a little wonky. But otherwise, I like this picture. It's got the classic Simon composition where the middle of the flower is off to the left and I'm kind of at an angle, and in some ways it's similar in composition to a lot of photos that I take where I'm not dead center, or I'm not straight on, the subject isn't dead center. But I like that. I like that this is sort of an affirmation of my own style that I've kind of developed, and yet another reminder that there's things to photograph all over the place if you just look for it. And if you're not sure what to do, just go to Instagram, go to Flickr, and check out what other people are doing, and give that a try.